Hello everybody, this is Dr. David Cole, and this will be the week 1 video for Political Science 1013, the fall 24 term at OPSU for the first 7-week term. Everyone, I tried to get one of these videos out to all my classes, one per week. Generally over the weekend, may go out on Saturday or Sunday, but we're just starting the term today, so we're doing this one on Monday, August 19th, the first day of the term. Everyone, you should have received several emails into your inbox with the syllabus, some other documents, some assignments, an assignment for a discussion and for an exam. The course requirements are there are 4 exams, a set of discussions, and a term paper that you may do. Everyone, it's a 7-week course, so things move fast. We end up having an exam every 10 or 12 days, so we're going to try to get an exam in before Labor Day, Thursday the 29th. And that will cover the first 2 units of the course, plus some readings to which I have sent you links. Everyone, one thing to be emphasized, try those links. You should not have to pay for anything that I asked you to read in this course. It's hard to get around using the New York Times and Washington Post from time to time. They do both operate a paywall, but they let readers look at a minimum number of articles per month before you run up against the paywall. If you should run up against the paywall, contact me. Do not worry about paying for that stuff. I will find a way to get the text of the thing to you. So you should check those links as soon as you get them. And if you're asked to pay for something, contact me. I don't expect you to pay for anything that I assign you to read in this course. We'll find a way to work around that. Everybody, it's a pretty fraught time in American politics with the election approaching. I haven't been teaching political science the past 7 weeks. I taught my philosophy course the second 7-week summer term. The first 7-week summer term, the debate between Trump and Biden took place the day before our final exam. And I had assigned that to students for a extra credit assignment. As we know, President Biden ran into some difficulties during that debate, and 3 or 4 weeks later, he felt compelled to withdraw from the campaign. And most of his delegates now, most all of them have gone to Vice President Harris, and she's actually been nominated already, but they're going to go through the formality of the roll call of the states again this week, I'm sure. And then we've given you 2 extra credit assignments already, one to introduce yourself, and one that will be based on Vice President Harris's acceptance speech that she will give at the convention in Chicago Thursday night. I don't know exactly when. You could try to watch it live, or you could watch a clip of it after the fact, because it's always uncertain exactly when these things will take place at the convention. All right, so 4 exams, 1 set of discussions, which all taken together have the same value as an exam. Then you may do a term paper, which can replace any one of those grades except the final exam, which everybody has to take. So I will try to get some material out about the term paper tomorrow. With any luck, we should be able to get that done and out to you tomorrow, or the next day at the very latest. There will be a lengthy document about the term paper assignment and some suggested topics for you, and a couple of other messages pertaining to the term paper assignment. Okay, so it's been a volatile time. We've had the debate on June 27th, and then President Biden's withdrawal. And then in the meantime, it was July 13th, I believe, we had the attempted assassination on President Trump, former President Trump, which he managed to survive, was only grazed by the bullet. It was a highly tumultuous, really unprecedented series of events that has happened these past few weeks in American politics. I don't expect I'll be talking about it a great deal, because these are unprecedented events that we really don't expect to see happening again on a regular basis. It's worth noting, though, The presidential candidates are chosen by the delegates. Now, for about 40 years now, the choice of delegates, 40 years or more, the choice of delegates has been tied to the result of the primaries. Okay? And delegates are committed to vote for the delegate for which they pledged on the first ballot. But for those delegates to the Democratic Convention, that candidate has withdrawn now, so they are unpledged. But a consensus formed that the party needed to be unified. Vice President Harris stepped forward, and she's going to get almost all of President Biden's delegates, and she'll be nominated quite easily. Actually, because of ballot requirements in the different states, they had to do the balloting already so that she could get on the ballot in all 50 states, some of whom had early filing deadlines. So they did a conference call, and they've already nominated her, but they will do that roll call of the states once again, and each of the state delegations will mention how many delegate votes different candidates are getting. And if you like that type of thing, that's going to take place sometime this week at the Democratic Convention. All right, so we're going to have 4 exams, a set of discussions, 5, I think it's 5 25-point discussions, and so the best 4 out of 5 will be counted for a 100-point grade, and a term paper you may do if you wish that could potentially raise your grade if you have a lower grade in the course before the final. Notice, everybody, when you get this material about the term paper, you must inform me of your topic 2 weeks before the due date, which is just before the final exam. We want to try to avoid last-minute rush jobs. So, you're getting a series of announcements, which should already be in your inbox, to try to launch the course. I hope everything is clear and easy enough to understand. Contact me if necessary with any questions, problems, or issues. I can be contacted through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. All right, everybody, we're looking then at an exam on Thursday the 29th, and that will cover 2 units, Units 1 and 2 of the course. Unit 1 on political participation, and Unit 2 on political parties and pressure groups. So let me take a few minutes before we go today to address Unit 1, and then I'll talk about Unit 2 next time. All right, Unit 1 is about participation. Many instructors would start the course with a unit on the Constitution, and we're going to get to that before our midterm exam, our second exam. But I start out with political participation, and I begin by talking about the concept of democracy. And you'll notice I put some of my class notes in an email to you, the second email you should have received. I hope you will look at that carefully, because we're living in a highly controversial time in American politics, highly fraught, unprecedented in many respects. And I made some remarks in that email and in those class notes that I hope will help us to avoid any misunderstanding in this course as we go forward. But it's important to understand what the concept of democracy does and does not include. Then we move on to talk about different ways in which you can participate, from voting all the way to running for office. And there are several ways in which you can take part. Conventional and unconventional. Okay. By unconventional participation, we mean protest, and protest can become violent. And we've got the subject of political violence for you for our first discussion coming up this weekend. We've sent you a short article to read, and I hope you'll express your thoughts on that. In each discussion, you're asked to post once initially, and then to get full credit, you need to respond to at least one of your classmates. So post at least twice over 48 hours in all these discussions, 5 of which we'll have over the course of the term. All right, so there's the concept of democracy, different ways in which you can participate, and then the second half of this unit, we try to concentrate on the act of voting in elections, and there are a couple of points we need to make here. Now, voting in and of itself does not get you that intimately involved in the system. If you really want to be intimately involved, there are many things you can do beyond voting, many of which we listed in those class notes and discussed them one by one. But voting in elections are how we choose candidates to serve in public office. So it's important. They determine who gets to hold power. So we talk about, there's two questions. There's the question of vote choice. How do people make up their minds about who they're going to vote for the Republicans or the Democrats or individual candidates? But before they do that, they have to decide whether or not to vote. So there's the question of turnout and then vote choice. Now, low turnout has been an issue for generations in American politics. Turnout has been higher for the last couple of elections because of the great interest that has been stimulated by Donald Trump and his opponents in 2016 and 2020, and we expect again in 2024, especially now that we have Vice President Harris on the ballot, and there seems to be a wave of enthusiasm on her behalf that the media has reported. The biggest determinant of whether somebody's going to turn out or not seems to be age. Younger people tend to turn out at a lower rate. People tend to take more of an interest in it as they age and get older and take on more responsibilities and feel that they have more of a stake in things. One other influence that's been discussed through the years is wealth, income, and education level, what we call socioeconomic status. Those further up the ladder traditionally have tended to vote and participate more, although in recent times we've found a fair amount of apathy really across the socioeconomic spectrum. We see a lot of fairly wealthy, affluent, well-off non-voters, the kind of people who sometimes are referred to in the press as double haters who dislike both Biden and Trump. So maybe they see Vice President Harris as an alternative. But age is the major determinant of whether people turn out or not. Now, once they decide to turn out, there's the matter of how they make up their mind, vote choice. And traditionally, we believe that party identification is the biggest determinant. People become attached relatively early in life to either the Democrats or the Republicans, and they may not always vote that way, but it's the biggest single influence on their vote. As time has passed in this country, we find fewer and fewer people willing to identify with either one of the parties. There are many, many more independents than there used to be. Although what we very often find is that someone will say they are independent, but they often vote pretty regularly for one political party or the other. Okay? And then there will be those with very little political component to their vote. They're almost voting maybe on the basis of personalities, which we discuss at the very, very end of those class notes. All right, so that in a nutshell is what we talk about in Unit 1. That will be the material for the test on the exam on the 29th, along with Unit 2, which we will talk about next time. Once again, we'll try to get one of these messages out every week. And again, contact me with any problems, issues, or questions through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. All that information is in the emails and on the syllabus, which is attached to one of those emails and is also up on the course website. So, hope you'll follow up on any issues or problems you have. Please contact me. Wish everybody a successful 7-week term, and we'll talk to you again over the weekend with our second message of this term. Take it easy.